Hello, in this video I'm going to talk about the key pattern number 11, and it's the key pattern of distorted self-worth. Now, you've probably heard the saying that if you take a child up until the age of, say, 7 and praise that child and boost his or her self-confidence, that child's much more likely to take up a positive role in life than a child who's constantly criticized and put down. When people grow up with confused messages about who they are and what they're capable of doing, their self-worth is affected. And some people believe themselves to be less valuable than they truly are. And that's because they've been fed a long series of "you're useless, you're not good enough" messages that they've come to believe. That means that they then accept jobs that don't pay well and they don't challenge that. They set their dreams aside, believing that they don't have what it takes to actually achieve their dreams. They slum it, forcing themselves to live in undesirable living conditions. They tend not to take good care of themselves or their belongings because deep down they don't believe that they deserve to have nice things. And often they sabotage themselves so that what they then most desire remains out of reach. Now, on the other side of this pattern is the person who overvalues their abilities, believing themselves to be better than they are in a particular area. And perhaps they received excessive praise from family members when they were young. They grew up to be unrealistic in their assessment of themselves, and they don't realize it. They're puzzled and disappointed when they don't get the job or the role or the reward that they were hoping for. And they fail to understand that more training and practice is actually required for them to succeed at the level they believe they've already attained. The final key pattern that I want to introduce you to on this video series, number 12, is the pattern of misaligned timing. And with this pattern, people often slide forward and back, backwards and forwards on their timeline into the past or forward into the future, and they lose touch with the power of now. They may be stuck in the past, regretting things that they can't change, or longing to relive happy times that are long, long gone. So they repeat the same old stories again and again and again, wishing that they could go back to that time in their lives. Or they may spend too much time reaching ahead to the future, and to a future that will never materialize if they don't take the action steps right now. Or even worse, they may become really impatient with the present moment as they fuss about what they think should have already happened as they attempt to force their future into the now. So in this case, they create resistance in the now, which pushes the actuality of an event further into the future, even further away. So people with misaligned timing are often in the right or wrong place at the wrong time, so that they miss opportunities that could have been available to them. Now, this often occurs for people who get stuck in the could've, would've, should've kind of thinking. And these thoughts disrupt their timelines, causing them to be early or late for the things they most desire. So people with this core pattern or key pattern have lost touch with the unfolding of divine timing, which is always happening right now. So that was key pattern number 12. So let me just quickly do a recap through the key patterns for you, 1 through 12, and just make a mental note of the ones that really resonate with you. The first pattern was abandonment. And remember, I said that this is a key pattern for many, many people simply because of the birthing process, and that often the umbilical cord is cut too soon after birth, and that creates a shock to the baby, creating the pattern of abandonment. The second pattern was guilt and shame, and I introduce you to Ho'oponopono as a technique for forgiveness. Key number 3 is blocked expression. So consider toning to open up your throat chakra. Key pattern number 4 is pain, anger, and grief. And remember, the emotions of anger and grief often accompany pain. And negative emotions can cause dis-ease. Number 5 is the key pattern of being out of body or numb, and this key pattern may develop as a result of a single major trauma or repeated traumas in which you disassociate as a defense mechanism in the moment in order to protect yourself. Number 6 is the key pattern of unhealthy boundaries. Number 7, control issues. And key pattern number 8 is lies and untruths. Key pattern number 9, inappropriate attachments. Number 10, the 10th key pattern is disrespect and entitlement. And of course, the final 2 I covered in this video, self-worth and misaligned timing. Now, the main ways that key patterns take root within us are through genetic, environmental, and social roots. So let me just explain a bit more about these. By genetic roots, I mean passed down through generation to generation through your DNA. So if a pattern is present in your parents and grandparents, it may have genetic roots. Remember that genetic traits can skip a generation or 2. So it's worth doing some research into your genetic heritage. So it is possible to have a genetically rooted pattern that's not exhibited in your parents or grandparents. Here's the good news. When one person heals in a gene pool, permission is given for everyone else in that gene pool to heal as well. So the healing you do today for yourself impacts your whole genetic line. Then there's environmental roots. And these take hold due to environmental factors and influence. So these patterns are caused by the environment in which you live, where others display a specific key pattern. And either you take on a key pattern because it's become so familiar to you within your environment, or you rebel against your environment, thus inadvertently taking on a key pattern in reaction to the energy you're fighting against. There are also social roots, and socially rooted patterns occur when you change yourself to please your peers or conform to society, to fit in. The rooting of these patterns involves decisions you make usually in your teenage years, things like one-upmanship or keeping up with the Joneses, and also gossip creates socially rooted patterns which can take hold whenever you change yourself to match what you think others want instead of being true to who you really are. Recognizing a key pattern goes a long way towards the healing process and making shifts and changes. So in the next video, I'm going to give you some insights into ways that you can clear key patterns that may be sabotaging your health, your wealth, your happiness, and your well-being.